Welcome to Michael's Kids Club Camp Creatology. Today we will create a woven clay lion. Join us for all 10 days of making. Enjoy!
Hi everyone, my name's Megan and I'm going to show you how to make the woven clay lion in today's Camp Creatology class. So in order to get started, you're going to need Model Magic. We're going to use 4 ounces, which is about half of one of these bags. We're also going to be using some craft picks, and these craft picks have a pointy side and they have a round side, so we're going to use those. We're also going to use some Creatology acrylic paints. We're going to need some paint brushes, and we're going to use some cotton yarn. So we have some fuchsia, some bubblegum, and some salmon are the colors that we've picked, but you can use whatever colors you want. You might also need a pair of scissors. So these are all the supplies you're going to need. Okay, in order to get started with our woven lion, we're first going to need some Model Magic. So I'm going to take what's in here and I'm going to break it in half. And I'm going to take it out of the bag and I'm going to wrap up the bag real nice and tight so that what's in here I can play with later on. And I'm going to take this big ball of Model Magic and I'm going to break off probably not quite half, maybe about a third of it, and put it to the side. And that piece I'm putting to the side is going to be to help me make my ears, my eyes, my nose, and then I'm going to take this big part and make it into a ball. So I'm kind of rolling my hands in order to form this into a ball shape. And then once I have it in a ball, I'm going to go ahead and smush it down on my paper to make one side flat. Now you can decide if you want the side that's flat to be your face, where you put your face, or if you want the rounded side to be your face. That part's kind of up to you. But this is the shape of my lion that I'm going to have. And then I'm going to use the rest of this in order to help me make some of the facial features. Now I'm going to put the facial features as I make them off to the side because I'm going to go back and I'm going to paint them. So I'm actually going to put them on like a scrap piece of paper over here. And the first facial feature I'm going to make is going to be the mouth. So I'm going to take about this much clay, Model Magic, and I'm going to roll it. And this is a little bit of an oval, so I take 2 fingers to roll it. And then when I have that shape, I'm going to press down right here in the middle to make a space for where the nose is going to go. And I'm going to use one of my craft picks. And I'm going to kind of draw a line with my craft pick so that I can see where that mouth is going to be. Then I'll put this over here to the side. And then I'm going to take another little piece of Model Magic and I'm going to roll it into a nose. So here's my cute little nose. Looks about the right size. So I'll put it over here next to my mouth. And I'm not putting them on my face yet because I'm going to do some painting before I put them on. Now I'm going to do the ears. So I'm going to take about this much Model Magic and I'm going to break it into 2 so that I have 2 ears that are going to be about the same size. So first I'm going to take one of the sides and roll it into a ball. And then I'm going to press it down with my thumb and I'm going to press here with my thumb because I'm making a straight line right here and the rest of this is going to be kind of like an ear. So this thumb helped me make that line and then the rest of it is curved to make your ears. I'm going to do that again. I'll roll it into a ball first. Then I'm going to use my thumb and I'm going to smush a little bit and push up with this other thumb so that I make half of a circle. And that looks like another good ear. Then I also need 2 eyes. So I'm going to take a little bit less and I'm going to break it in half so that I have 2 pieces that are about the same for my eyes. And actually, I don't think I even want that much. I think I'm going to break it in half again and make my eyes a little bit smaller. And that looks good. Here's one eye. And here's another eye. And now I'm ready to do some painting. So I'm going to put this guy to the side and I'm going to start doing some painting on my face. so that I have time for my face to dry a little bit before I move on and start painting all the facial features. So I'm gonna start with my lion's face, and my lion right now is orange. So I'm gonna use some orange acrylic paint and dip my paintbrush in, and I'm gonna go ahead and paint on the Model Magic. You might need a little bit of water. You might need a paper towel handy so that you can kind of move the paint around and cover up your face. Now, if you want it to be more of a light color, you can use some white paint over your orange, or you can add a little bit of yellow paint to your orange, and you can get kind of a lighter orange color. I kind of like this color though, but maybe I'll add just a little bit of yellow so that you can see what that looks like. So if I add a little bit of yellow, here's my yellow paint, putting my paintbrush into my water cup so that I have a clean brush to put into my yellow paint. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of yellow, and I'm gonna mix that little bit of yellow in with my orange. That looks pretty cool, big ball of sunshine. Maybe a little bit more yellow over here. And then I'm gonna turn my scrap piece of paper around, and I'm going to start working on the ears, the mouth, and one of the eyes was trying to roll away from me. So here I go. Next I'm gonna make my ears. So for my ears, I wanna make those orange also. And I'm gonna go over this with orange, and then I'm gonna go back in just a moment and put a little bit of that inside ear. See how it's light pink inside of the ear? So I have that part done. Then I'm gonna use a little bit of light pink. Put my brush in my water so I could clean off my brush. I'm gonna use a little bit of pink. And yep, that'll work. Just putting a little dab in here. And there we go. Cute. While I have my pink, I'm gonna go ahead and start painting the part where the mouth is. So we have that little line that's gonna help us make it look like it's the mouth. And I'm gonna paint this pink around that. The little divot at the top is where our nose is gonna go. And I'm gonna paint my nose just a little bit of a darker pink. So I'm gonna use this darker pink, and I'm gonna go ahead, and the nose is the larger circle. And I'm gonna go around and paint that nose. And just so my pieces don't roll around too much, I'm gonna kind of make it flat on one side because it's gonna need to stick on to the mouth or to the face anyway. So that looks pretty good. And then our last step is gonna be these two little eyes. So they're obviously already white, which is awesome. And then we're going to add a little bit of black to them to make our eyeballs. So I'm gonna make it flat by pushing it down a little bit and pushing this down a little bit. And then I'm gonna use just one little dot of black. So you can use the top of your paintbrush, or you can use a toothpick, or you can use a teeny tiny brush like the teeny tiny brush I have. And I'm gonna make a black little dot with my black paint. There we go. And I'm gonna make another little black dot on this one. And I'm gonna try and keep my eyeballs about the same. So if I make this one bigger, then I'm gonna make this one a little bit bigger too. Looks good. All right, now one thing I forgot about was my whiskers. So I need just a little bit more of that Model Magic we put off to the side. so that I can roll some whiskers. So I'm going to take a piece, I'm going to keep breaking it a couple times, and then I'm going to roll some little worms. And these little worms I'm going to use as whiskers. So probably about an inch. You don't have to measure it, but that's about how big mine's going to be. And I'm just making some little worms. Can make them even smaller if I want to. Just rolling them out. And I'm going to line up 6 little whiskers, and then I'm going to paint those 6 little whiskers while I'm painting. Now this whole time that we're painting all the facial features, what's cool is that our big face up here is drying, because we're about to use that part to start doing some of the weaving. And then while we're weaving, our facial features are going to dry, and we can glue all of them on at the very end. So here's some different whiskers. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I'm good. Let me split those apart. And then I'm ready to paint those black with some of my acrylic paint again. So I'm dipping my paintbrush into the black. I'm going to get those whiskers black. Maybe roll them over a little bit so I can get both sides. And if your hands are starting to get some paint on them like mine are, you can wait until the very end of your project and wash your hands, or if you want to wash your hands in the middle, you can do that too. Just a little bit of soap and water will make your hands nice and clean again. So I'm rolling these whiskers over. I'm making sure I get some black paint on each one of them. There we go. And then I'm going to leave all of these on the scrap piece of paper to dry a little bit while I'm working on weaving. Looks pretty good. All right, I'm gonna put my paint away. I'm gonna screw the top back on. I'm gonna put all my paintbrushes to the side and put all my extra Model Magic off to the side in case I wanna play with that later. And now I'm gonna focus on just the face, and I'm gonna focus on the yarn. Okay, now we're going to make all of the mane that goes around the lion, so all of its hair going around it. And I'm gonna take the face, and it's pretty dry right now. I'm gonna let the rest of my pieces, I'm gonna push them off to the side. That nose wants to roll away from me. There we go. And I'm gonna let all of these dry up here while we work on just the face. And we're going to use our different yarn, and we're going to use our craft picks. So now you're going to take 13 picks, and we're going to put 13 picks into the face. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And so far, I think I have 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm gonna scoot another one in here. And then I think I'm gonna scoot another one down here. So what's nice about these craft picks is that there's a pointy edge. So you can just stick the pointy edge into your Model Magic, and it goes in really nice and smooth. And now we kind of have like a big ball of sunshine. So we have these sticks coming out of it, and we have the face of our lion, and then we're going to take our 3 different colors of yarn, and we're going to start weaving. So the way that we're going to start weaving is I'm going to take one of the colors, and I'm going to wrap it around the pick, and I'm going to tie a little bit of a knot, and I'm going to leave the tail of the yarn kind of hanging out, because eventually I'm gonna hide it in the back of the lion's mane. Then in order to do our weaving, we're gonna do a kind of weaving where we go over this one, under this one, over, under, over, under, over, under, and we keep going over, under, around the whole entire thing. Now when we get back to the beginning, we're at the opposite. So the reason why we use 13 popsicle sticks instead of like 12 is so that we have an odd number, and then when we get back here, we're going to be doing the opposite. So now this time it goes under, over, under, over, and all the way around. So you're going to use this first color and you're going to wrap under, over, all the way around until you get back to the beginning. Now I'm not going to cut my yarn. If you want to, you can cut your yarn, especially if this is your first time weaving. It might be a little bit harder to do it the way I'm going to show you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you all 3 colors, and then I'm going to show you how you could use all 3 colors at the same time. So now I'm taking my second color and I'm going to kind of wrap just a little bit like how I started the last one. And with this one, I'm going to make sure I do the opposite of what I just left out on. So I'm going over, under, and I'm going to keep going over and under each one of these. There we go. I'm going to do it again. And each time I'm doing the opposite of what I did last time. Then I'm going to leave this yarn right here. And if you want to, you can cut it. It's okay, especially if you think it's going to get tangled. And then I'm going to do my next color. And I'm going to do 2 rounds of this next color. And I'm going to go, since this last one was over, I'm going to go under and over, and do the opposite. And it's pretty fun to weave all these colors, weave all these yarns. I'm going to do this one twice too. Then I'm going to show you something kind of cool. All right, now I'm going to take all 3 of my colors at the same time. And I'm going to try and wrap all 3 of these at the same time. Do you think I can do it? I think I can. So look, I'm taking all 3 of them. So you might need to untwist them a little bit off to the side. I'm going to take all 3 of these and go over, under, over, under. And it's okay if they start to twist up and go in a different order. That's just going to make it even more unique and even more cool. And if you don't want to do it with all 3, or if this is too hard, that's okay. You can do it with just 1 at a time. You can even just do it with 1 color the whole time if you want to. But I like doing with 3 because you can tell that I'm getting a lot more of this mane a lot faster doing all 3 of these colors at the same time. So that's kind of cool. And then when you think that you've had enough around to make your mane, you can stop. And then we're going to tie all of these to the back. Maybe just a little bit more. But I like what the mane is looking like. And I like doing it with all the colors at once. It's going really well. Hope it's going well for you too. I'm gonna try and make it back to the beginning one more time. And I think that's gonna be a really cool lion's mane. All right. This looks like a good place to stop. So I'm gonna cut my string, but I'm gonna cut them a little bit further so I have some extra string to tie on the back. And on the back, I'm gonna take these strings and I'm gonna tuck them through some other strings and kind of tie little knots, and mostly just find places to tuck the yarn away. Or if you see one of the tails from before, you can tie onto that. But really all this is just gonna be hidden in the back of our lion anyway. So you could put some glue down if you don't want to tie knots, but I was able to hide a lot of those. You can spread your lion's mane out to make it bigger. You can keep wrapping, you could use more colors. There's lots of different things that you can do. So we're just about finished now, because now that our lion has a mane, we are gonna add in the facial features. So these facial features up top have been drying a little bit, and so we're gonna take those and we're gonna put them onto our Model Magic. And because our Model Magic is starting to dry, we might need to use a little bit of glue to help us out too. So I'm gonna start with the mouth and not let my nose roll away. And on my mouth, remember I have that little dent towards the top, and the little dent towards the top is going to be where the nose goes. So I'll take a little bit of glue. My glue tip might be a little stuck. So I'm gonna take a little bit of glue. If I can get a little bit of glue out. There I go. Put a little dab of glue on the back of the mouth. And then I'm gonna put it down on the face. I want this to be the bottom of my lion's face. There we go. Then I'm gonna take the nose, that's a little bit of a darker color pink. I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on it. I'm gonna stick it right there by the mouth. I can take my ears, put a little bit of glue on this ear to make the cute lion's ear. A little bit of glue on this ear. Looks good too. Then I have my two eyeballs. There's one. And there's another one. Awesome. It's looking good so far. And then we have our whiskers. So then we can put our whiskers in. Take the longest whiskers first and put them in. Cute. And I'll take some of the smaller whiskers. Maybe stick one going up and one going down on each side. Cute. Looks good. And then every lion needs a roar. So make sure you find out what your lion's roar is gonna sound like. And feel free to do a little roar. Yay! And look at this. We've made our own woven lion. And it is adorable. I love it. So this is really cool and really cute. I hope you had fun making this with us, and I hope you make all of the Camp Creatology projects. See you soon, bye.